Hello there, it's Marian. So, how are you doing, guys? Today, I think that as far as I'm having only $1, I think I will show you how I'm moving on from $1 into something really better. So, I'm having here just this very combination. This is very pair. So, let's move on and set up together all the preferences quickly. Okay. Well, first of all, let's go to the pairs panel and I will switch on some currency. Okay, guys, I think that euros and the Brazil real would be pretty great, and I'm putting them up, and then now I'm deleting this very euro Singapore dollar. Okay, let's move on to another kind of pair. So I'll switch on the third one, the USD and the Bangladeshi Taka. So they're moving on pretty good here and show me like great trades. And well, I think that I will go and choose the like British pound and the Japanese yen, and then let's go and move on with the New Zealand dollar and the Canadian dollar and market OTC. So guys, I think I will stay here on the fourth pair. And let's find some purposes, so like along with the indicators. So my friends, I think that the system is showing me that we need to go to our indicators panel and move on with the Bollingers. Okay, and I will move on here with the period of 7, and this will go on pretty good for me, I hope so. And the next thing will be the 8x, I think so I will mark the plus the I with the green color, the minus I will leave like this, and the 80s itself will be going pretty like turquoise. So the turquoise one, and of course I'll widen this literally into one section. So well, my friends, I hope that everything here will be going great except for 3 minutes candlesticks. So I will switch on for 2 minutes and then we will see if it's going on pretty great. So let's move on and let's see some interesting cases. So you see the market is going a little bit higher in terms of the speed. Well, so let's move on here, working on with the greens, and come on. So wow, it's awesome. We are having not even $2, but that's pretty good. That's a fresh start, to be honest. So let's move on the first currency ratio. And I think there are many interesting cases for us today. That's why we should hurry up. So I think that in this very moment we will be working on with the lowest low of the Bollingers. So this is very time of trades. If I tell you that now I'm giving you your first rewards from trading, it's $1,000, will you follow my steps? I believe that you will do. So now, please keep your attention, because the source I'm sharing with you is actually a key for your reward. I'm sharing with you the real-time trading signals on my Telegram channel, so all of you can gain this $1,000 just in a few hours of trading and a few clicks. Trades which I'm sharing give up to 9% of profit. So with even $100, you can gain your $1,000 easily. Remember, who doesn't try never gets. So don't waste this opportunity. Follow my Telegram channel, link you will find in the description, and see you there. Okay, like time expiration will be pretty perfect for us to like 30 seconds. What am I having here? The very kind of story, moving on a little bit down, and I see that outer lines are going a little bit narrower. So what am I doing to do here is like communicate some directions inside the 8x. And I think I should move on here again and again, but moving on here with the red, and let's go. Okay, guys, it's perfect. Perfectly combined here. So you see the system is shown at the ports of the reds. This is a little bit higher than the green. So okay, we've moved up, and we've made a great decision. And if you're having only like $2, I think that's also a great start, to be honest, because like we had only $1 2 minutes later. And let's move on to the next one. Okay, so wow. Here I'm going with $2 and switching on the greens, and let's go. So it's a perfectly combined situation, and you see we're moving on pretty good along with the lowest low of the Keltner channel. So it was a great decision, and you see we are not going much outer than the period and the corridor itself. So you see all those changes are dropping here along with the corridor here. So okay, like we are not going outside pretty far from the corridor. And let's move on the to the next currency. It's like the British pound and the Japanese yen. Yeah, now. So I'm moving on here to my investment, clicking here for like $4 and moving up, and let's go. Did you see this? That was one of the interesting keys, like while we were working outside along with the Bollinger Bands corridor here. You see like all that we have sometimes see the slower speed. This is what am I talking with you about. So like the slow speed is the key. And when you see that the trade is going down, sometimes it's one of the best moments like to realize and to go on with the green button. But because like we're having this slower speed, so guys, let's move on to the next currency. And okay, I see that there's a reversal and we need to calm down and to go to our investment. I'm clicking like $8, and let's check this out and have the reds. So a great decision. So you see we've moved on here, realizing that all the quotes are inside the second part of Bollinger's, and so it was one of the best moments, to be honest. But we need to move on to the next currency because we are like yeah. Okay, so yeah, we should move, and our purpose is here is to have like a wider wallet. So let's move on to the next currency, and moving on here, combining like all previous kinds of history story. So okay, we're having here the drop down of the quotes and terribly downstairs movement, as you can see, and then some situations are showing that the growth is going to go here. Okay, the growth of quotes are going. Okay, so the quotations are going pretty slow upwards. This case is very interesting for me. And yeah, so like very interesting for me, and I need to go to my investment and go on with $15, and let's check this out and having degrees, and come on. So perfectly combined this very story, and like we're having the quotes which are a little bit out, and now you see through the quotations are having here the actions with the Bollinger Bands corridor, and we are having the new one, the reverse of the reds. And let's go further. Of course, we're ahead of time, and so the US dollar and the Bangladeshi taka. Guys, the system is a little bit like pretty like, so I see that the quotations are going out of the channel. I'm going to my investment, and let's click here all that we have, $29. It's pretty awesome. So I'm moving on here, having also the ADX information, and let's go up. Awesome! So you see we're just waiting for the ADX the 8x is showing us that the greens are here going to go. And now we're having the pretty great candlestick, which is here. I should say, I should call it as the Marubozu. So the Marubozu is going on pretty perfectly after some of the greens here. Like, for example, if we had the row of short green candlesticks, that means that the next Marubozu was going like to show us the force of this trend. But while we're having this Marubozu as one of a kind here, one of a row, this means that in some period of cases there is going to be a 60% of a reversal. Let's move on to the next currency ratio, guys. And now the British pound is against the Japanese yen. So, okay, what am I going to see here is just that I'm having many tops around this corner. And well, yes, there was some consolidations inside this very period. And what else? We're having some drops down, remarkably drops down, and like they are prevailing ones, but we are having the shortcuts of the curved up. So guys, you see, maybe it's going to be a revealing situation for the greens, but I'm changing the scale. I'm going to my investment, and $56 I'm dropping here in my investment box, and now I'm checking this in having the red. So that's awesome. You see what are we having here? There is the short, incredibly short, the green candlestick, but it's far more greater than the previous period of the reds. And well, it was an interesting kind of a conclusion that we are having in some period of time the greens, but anyway, the force of the reds is gonna go here. We still have our time. We've made the great decision. Let's move on next. Okay, so in the New Zealand, in the Canadian dollar. Guys, we're having dollars of the different countries, and they're showing out the situation to grow higher. Okay, I think we still have our time. I'm going to my investment. I'm going to have here $100. This is going to go here like far more easily, and I need only great trades, of course. And I'm moving on confidently, having the greens, and let's check this out. That's pretty good. We're having almost $200. That's pretty awesome. Though you see, you had some risks having this very week of the prices here, week of candlestick. Anyway, you see the nice falling down is happening here, but we had our time. Let's move on further. So the next thing, the next thing here is gonna go with the reds, of course. So I see that the 80x red line is showing us preferences here. The preferable line is over the red color, and I move to my investment because I will be having here $190. That's it. Having some checks with greens, and let's go. That's awesome. That's also a very interesting kind of a situation. We're having the slower speed of dropping down, so we've moved on pretty perfectly, having the green color. But anyway, if you know what I mean, you see that the direction here is preferably like going down. So well, this is one of kinds of interesting moments when you are checking on this scene, having the green button. But knowing that the whole trend is here, the global trend is going down. So guys, let's move on to the next currency ratio, like the US dollar and the Bangladeshi taka. And what I will be having here is just relying on the previous kind of history, so the history of moment prices, because if we double check this, we see that there are many tops right over here, like the whole direction is going a little bit higher than a small drop down. So I should say the comparison, the previous history, it's like, yeah, like it's pretty short curve dropping down here. So we're having greater varieties of red candlestick. and then a growth back of the quotations, and we're having three tops right over here, but they're going a little bit more down here. Okay, well, what do we need is just concluding that the next top, the fourth top, has been happening here and it's over. Guys, the next thing is here might be a little growth down of the quotations. Just a remission here is going to go, so I'm going to investment and I'm going to check this in, like having all that I have. So $370 will be pretty enough. So I'm checking this in, having the slower speed and the reds. So it's pretty perfectly downstairs. As you can see, we're dropping down and the Quotex is a little bit sleepy. But as for me, I'm having the same mood as the Quotex has. So I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit like sleepy ahead today. So that's why I'm feeling pretty confident while having this trade. So you see, it was a really perfect decision to go on the next with the downward tendencies. So let's move on the next currency. So like we have $700, guys. That's pretty awesome. That's like my live account, and I'm here with you having this very valid, making it a little bit wider. So in this very combination, I think that the Bollinger Bands of the channel candlesticks is working on pretty good, and the ADX, by the way, is working on by default settings. If you have some questions, I'm waiting for you in comments down below. Please ask me in the comment section. So, and now I will be trying to find some solutions inside this very week, having this very week. So guys, I need to recall some of hammers, because like we're talking here a lot about hammers, and the situation is showing me the red one and the green one is here. So whether like it's going to be a new one, the next pattern. So I'm not really sure, but anyway, what am I going to do here is of course going to the investment. And if you don't know what to do next, please go along with the investment. So in this very moment, I see that the remission of the greens is gonna go. So, and that's why I'm going to check this in, and let's try and let's go with the reds. That was a perfect decision. So you see, we've had first some of the hammers and then a little bit of the greens, but then the system has like shown us that we are touching along with the highest high of the Bollinger channel, the Bollingers. That's why we were moving on pretty awesome, having another risky moment. And while having this lower speed, we're having more than $1,000, guys. So this is one of the interesting sessions, and I think that it tells me that I can do everything. If you have even $1, it doesn't mean that you are poor. You just have to have your perfect strategy, of course. So this means that we should go along with your life, with your private life, with your social life. So this always means your financial stability, your financial preferences, and your financial habits. And I think that in this very moment we're having the quads to go on a little bit higher, but yeah. But there are some flat moments along with these very rough candlesticks. So I have to mind them a little, and we're having wicks here. So I'm moving to my investment, and I think I should try $1,200 here, like in my investment. So, and I think we should try this with the greens. Yeah, so let's go. That was awesome. So you see that was an interesting kind of story. You just mentioned that I have this income, and then the system with some delay has showed me my very wallet. So I think that it's pretty enough for us because we had only $1. We've just started with $1 and this is perfectly going on. If you have something to start over and you are having only $1, guys, I'm here for you. And you see this works, and well, I think that we should meet in some days. I really like our sessions, and it's always a pity for me when we don't chat. So guys, it's quite time to say you, my friends, that I have my Telegram channel, of course, and I think that you should go to my channel, and we will meet sooner. So, okay. So let's move on to the next currency ratio. We should move on to the next pair, and well, I think that this is showing me the potential for growth down. And guys, I will be using it in any way, so I'm moving to the investment and I will be using $2,300 right over here. And I think I should check this out, still having degrees, and let's go. So that's perfect. By the way, you see we're having here the quotes that are going back. This is one of the essences of the Bollingers. You see when you have some quotations that are touching the lowest low of the Bollinger Bands, it means that in some cases they are going to go back to be inside the Bollingers. This is pretty awesome, pretty easy to conclude if you have this type of actions of the quotations. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I think that we should have at least $5,000, and we need to go to another kind of ratio to find some perfect moment here. And well, guys, what should I say here? I think that's a pretty easy moment for us to have our money, so I think I will have here $1,000, and that's it. I'm checking this in having the reds, and let's go. Well, that's it, guys. With easy steps, having less than 30 minutes here in your day, this should become your daily routine. This is pretty easily to have a greater wallet here. You see, I've just made my decisions. All of them were pretty clear. And you know what I mean? If you have this kind of story, please go and repeat after me. And now I'll be using this very wallet. So I think that was pretty clear and pretty easily. So and that's it. See you together. So see you in some days, and thanks a lot for watching. Bye.